A lot going on at Manchester United right now, a lot of speculation about potentially players coming and going. But one thing's for sure, Shaka, we know they're playing Chelsea in their first game on Sunday. So we give you a task to come up with an 11 that you think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will go with. Why did you pick this 11?
I think it kind of speaks for itself. You know that Rashford is Solskjaer's preferred starting centre forward. I have always advocated for Pogba to play a little bit higher up. Right now I have him tucked inside behind Rashford, knowing full well that he can swap with Martial. I think Pogba very effective coming off the left-hand side. And Lingard down the right. McTominay continues to grow in presence. Matic will be the leader in certainly that defensive midfielder role. And then the back four speaks for itself. Shaw on the left, Wan-Bissaka, who has certainly started very well for United. I know it's pre-season, but what we've seen so far, he's looked good. Maguire, without question, and I think his preferred partner is Lindelof. I'm just not sure who else is the least of the evils, so to speak, available to Solskjaer. And needless to say, De Gea, who I expect his body language should be much improved. I thought he'd almost checked out emotionally back end of last season. But given the fact that he's agreed a new deal, maybe we see the best of De Gea yet again.
Harry Maguire has put pen to paper, and there's less than a week now until the Chelsea game. Why has it taken this long? Because the speculation was rife towards the tail end of last season.
Yeah, the speculation, it's taken this long because initially City were interested, and then if you're Leicester City, you want to see exactly how far you can push the market. But then when you realise that it's only Manchester United who are interested at this price, it becomes a bit of a haggling job between the two. Leicester, as these things go, wanted more. United weren't prepared to pay as much, and they meet somewhere in the middle. I think it's just kind of part and parcel for how transfers go nowadays.
Speaking of transfers, are you surprised that Romelu Lukaku's future has not yet been resolved?
Yes, very surprised. Given that he was linked with a move away pretty much as soon as the season ended. As soon as Antonio Conte was appointed as manager of Inter Milan, he was in the news. Lukaku was in the news, and as Conte's #1 target. So for it to go this long, especially considering the fact that Solskjaer said that Rashford was going to be his preferred centre forward, I didn't think it would be that or this difficult to deal. Somehow they can't seem to come together on this.
We don't know if there's going to be comings or goings before the transfer window shuts. If there was to be an arrival at United before then, what do you think, or which area do you think they need to strengthen?
I still think that they need another centre-half. I think Lindelof is good, but not great. And not the kind of centre-half I think United need if their ambitions are to be believed.
They have quantity at centre-back, but do they have quality?
No, they don't. No, they don't, which is why, you know, I mean, it was a terrible term to use, and it really shouldn't be speaking about, you know, modern day footballers in these terms as the least of the evils available to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. But I don't think anybody, you know, Smalling or Jones or anybody else really fits the bill in terms of a top-notch Premier League centre-back.
Assuming Lukaku is no longer a Manchester United player once the transfer deadline is come and gone, do they have enough strength and depth in attack? If Rashford gets hurt, we've seen Greenwood do really well in pre-season, but what happens?
Greenwood's what, 17? Listen, I'm not sure.
Do they have sufficient backup?
No, they don't. No, not as an out-and-out centre-forward. Without Rashford, I'm not sure who else you turn to as that out-and-out centre-forward. Now, you have somebody else. I think Rashford is very effective on either wing. So that gives you options just in terms of how you play. But if Rashford goes down injured and Lukaku is, you know, something happens between now and the close of the transfer window, whatever happens, and you don't have anybody else, no, you're way too thin.
However, playing devil's advocate, I have seen quotes to ESPN FC from Gunnar Solskjaer saying that Martial could be a striker, and he maybe thinks Martial is better in that position because he knows he's going to get more from Rashford if he's out wide. I'm not saying Rashford's not going to start through the middle, but I think from what he said, Gunnar Solskjaer, Rashford playing on the left-hand side gives them more defensive attributes than having Martial out there. So it is an option to play Martial through there.
Yeah, I guess it is an option.
You're not convinced?
No, I'm not. I really am not convinced that Martial is a good enough finisher to be playing through the middle for Manchester.
He's not consistent enough.
He's not. Listen, if Rashford goes down for a game or two and you have to use Martial in there, that's one thing. If you have to use Pogba in there, that's one thing. But if you're talking about your out-and-out centre-forward being down for 2 months, having Martial or anybody else fill in for an 8 or 10 game spell, I don't think works at all.
So they've strengthened at the back with Harry Maguire and Wan-Bissaka, 2 really good signings. But according to Shaka, they maybe need to strengthen up front to give them a little bit more strength and depth in case anything happens to the likes of Marcus Rashford.